Rumors going around the NBA is a lot of teams are interested in Immanuel Quickley, and Chris and I are here to break it all down. What's up, guys? It's your boy Dariel and Chris from Knicks Digest. And Chris, let's jump right into today's topic. So, there's been a tweet that's been put out by Legion Hoops saying that NBA executives believe that the Spurs and the Orlando Magic could show interest in Immanuel Quickley. And they got that information from an article published by Sean Devaney from Heavy Sports Heavy.com. Just off of first read, where does your mind go whenever you see that?
I mean, I'm pretty unsurprised when it comes to the San Antonio Spurs showing interest in Quickly just because they have not had a point guard all season that's really worked. Trey Jones is shooting 43% from the field and 30% from three while averaging around 8 points per game. They benched him. They've had Malachi Branham start some games. They had Jeremy Sohan starting games at point guard at one
Right.
point during this season. They're 3-18. They've been a wreck. Quickly is probably the best point guard who's not starting in the NBA right now. I'm not surprised the teams are looking at him because the Knicks didn't sign him to that extension. And I think if you're not going to sign Quickly to an extension, and if you have decided that you might be willing to let him walk in restricted free agency, then if you're the Knicks, you're better off trading the guy. So at the very least, you don't just let a player of that caliber walk for absolutely nothing in return, because that would be a disaster.
And the other team that's interested, the Orlando Magic. Now, the Orlando Magic, they're a little bit more of an interesting team because for the past few seasons, the Orlando Magic, it seems like they've been like you can tell that they're building something down there. Last season, they got Paolo Banchero with the number one pick. This is his second season. It seems like he's gotten a little bit more into his stride. They got the Wagner brothers, Cole Anthony. They got another lottery pick in Jalen Suggs. So they are building something down there. And if you add Immanuel Quickley already to that core, somebody who's been in like playoff games, even though personally I don't think he's shown up yet in a bright spot, but he has the experience of being in those playoff games at least. So he has that over all those players on the Orlando Magic. Um, and yeah, I mean it could get interesting with Orlando as far as offering something to Quickley.
Yeah, no, I agree. For me, it's what is Orlando realistically going to give back? Because if you're going for someone, say even like someone like Cole Anthony, you're going to have to throw a different contract in to match his 13 million per year over the next 2 or 3 years. And then outside of that, you're looking at Jonathan Isaac, who I think in some ways fits really well with the Knicks, especially if you're going to move quickly and decide to put either whoever's off the bench, DiVincenzo or Grimes, as the lead ball handler. But Jonathan Isaac never plays basketball. He gets injured all the time. He's played like almost no NBA basketball at all since 2019. For me, it's I don't know what either of these teams would offer to the Knicks that the New York Knicks would realistically be cool with getting back in exchange for quickly.
So in the actual article, there's something that the author talks about that's kind of like glaring. So if we take a look here, this week, SNY's Ian Bagley came back with reporting on just how far apart the two sides were on their talks about a deal. So far apart that they never even got to a point at which they were talking about numbers. According to Bagley, one offer made to Quickly was not fully guaranteed, giving the Knicks a team option in the contract. Per SNY sources, there were no incentives included in the talks per SNY sources. So if just by that piece of the article, where it's like Quickly and the Knicks are so far apart in negotiation talks that I don't know, man. Like every time I think about Quickly, man, it's like yeah, he's great as a six man. It's offensive firepower coming off the bench, but it's like, man, you just haven't shown up when we needed you most. He always has these great regular seasons. He's always in the six man of the year conversations, and then when the light is shining the brightest, it's like, dude, where are you, bro?
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong in the sense that he's had his struggles here and there, especially in the playoffs. He's been in high pressure situations with, as you said, with the Magic, with the San Antonio Spurs. That matters because those teams have really no one on their roster who's ever been in the playoffs, been in that position before. But he's still a great player to have. And my nightmare, more than anything else, would be for the Knicks to just lose him for nothing. The guy clearly has a lot of value, and I think he has a lot of value to the Knicks as who they are. But even if he's not going to show up in the playoffs, teams are still going to be willing to give something good for him. And I think the Knicks could use Quickley in a package to get something very good in return. I hope that's the direction that they're looking at. And the Spurs and the Magic, they don't really have that. They don't have that guy who could get traded, who could make the Knicks a lot better. But maybe some team does. And just because these two teams have interest in him, it doesn't mean that the other 27 teams, not counting the Knicks, of course, don't. So I think there's going to be other teams that are going to emerge as real suitors for IQ. And when that happens, the Knicks might be able to swing for the fences. Say it's like a young team or a team that's going to blow it up and wants to get rid of some veterans in any way who could help the Knicks win right now. I think that's more of a likely trade that we would see the Knicks make if they were going to move quickly. I don't think it would be like how they moved to Obi just for those 2 seconds. And obviously, Quickly's worth more, but you know what I mean? We're in the sense of where they just move it for assets. I think they would move it for someone who could instantly make them better.
Why'd you have to remind me of the Obi Toppin trade?
Because I don't know why. Because now Knicks fans are going to be complaining about Julius Randle in the comments.
I'm missing, man. I've been a day one Julius Randle, just not a hater, but a Julius Randle. I don't know how to call it. I just question his ability. That's it. I question his ability, and I loved Obi Toppin, man. I thought he could have brought so much more to the team than Tibbs was showing. But anyways, going back to Quickley, something that I just thought about, something that might be enticing to Quickley, if the Spurs were to actually offer something. Yeah, the Knicks have they have the option to match the offer, but like if the Spurs offer Quickley something that we should keep in mind is that like playing with Wembanyama, that's something that could be very, very enticing, not just for Quickley, but for other free agents and for other restricted free agents. Like Wembanyama is a once in a generation type of talent. Like players are gonna want to play with him.
For sure.
And on top of that, you got Greg Popovich, who's arguably the best coach in the NBA right now. So yeah, there's a lot of different angles you could look at this. You could take this where Quickley might get pulled away from the Knicks.
I wouldn't be shocked to see Quickly move on. It feels like in some ways it feels way more likely that he will be on a new team next year than still be on the Knicks. Just with the contracts the Knicks already owe a few bench guys, it would be surprising to see them pay him a ton of money if they were not at all willing to retain him. If they were willing to let him go to restricted free agency, it means they're probably aware that his future does not stay with the New York Knicks. It always felt like he would be the team's future starting point guard. Brunson comes in and changes that instantly.
Well,
And
my bad,
what's
my
up?
bad, my bad.
No, go for it. Go for it.
I was just gonna say in the article that it says that he was looking for at least 4 years, 100 mil, and then the Knicks obviously let him go to restricted free agency. If they, oh my god, if they this summer coming up, if someone offers Immanuel Quickley what he's looking for, and then the Knicks match it, like what the hell was the point of that? What was the point of like? Because I think like what if this upcoming summer they get to a point where like the Spurs offer him the 4 years, 100 mil, and then the Knicks look at it and be like, can we really lose Quickly? I don't think we can really lose him because Brunson, is getting more mileage on his legs, more pressure on him. And then they offer the 4 year, 100 mil. It's like, what the hell? What was the point of all this? If that's just one thought that popped in my head. I'd be like, that would be hilarious if that happened.
And it's realistic to think that that exactly could happen because the Knicks might decide, are we really going to screw up so badly that we're just going to let Immanuel Quickley walk and us get nothing in return for him when you could probably get some value that either is or adjacent to the value of a first round draft pick, not like a high first, but like a first round draft pick. He has real value. The Knicks are obviously looking for that superstar to take them to the next level. I don't think they would let arguably their best asset, who would be in that trade package without any doubt, just walk away. It feels like a bad look for a Knicks team that's really just turned around the way that they've made people view them. And then also, you just lose out on so much value just because you didn't want to pay a contract that would still be tradable. I think if you put Quickley on a 4 year, $100 million deal, I think you could still move that. That's a tradable contract. And if you're able to move that, you have another contract that's not just Evan Fournier's deal that's about to expire that you could match a salary with that maybe wouldn't have a poison pill like RJ's contract, which is going to make everything more complicated. I think the Knicks would actually have to match it and say, all right, we're going to be near the second apron. We have to move him. We'll do some sort of sign and trade. We'll figure this out later. But we cannot just let arguably our best tradable asset just walk in free agency.
We should also give a shout out to Fournier because he's still in the doghouse.
Oh my God,
yo,
man! Every time,
yo, every time they do like they pan to the bench. I'm looking at Fournier. I mean, like, I do want to give him some credit. Like, he's always like encouraging his team. He's like hyping his team up, and I'm like, all right, man, you're a good teammate. But
he really is.
as far as getting on the floor, I don't think that's gonna happen.
I'm rooting for a trade, man. I just want to see Evan Fournier get freed. He's a player who does deserve NBA minutes. He really is a tremendous shooter. It's just he doesn't fit on the Knicks.
All right, Chris, let me ask you this though. What if within the next couple of weeks, because Mitchell Robinson, obviously, it's been reported that he's going to get the ankle surgery, so that's going to be a big piece out of the starting lineup, and just for the team in general is a big piece out. So what if we see the Knicks start, losing, and we see like really bad body language? Do you think the Knicks would feel froggy and would actually make a move at the trade deadline with Immanuel Quickley being a part of it?
I think that there's multiple chances, no matter what direction the team goes, and that they could trade quickly at the deadline. Honestly,
Because I just feel like the impression that they're giving is that they're gonna ride with this team until the end of this season, and then they'll see where everybody lies.
I agree, and that's totally what they've shown. But they also did not show that last year before they went out and moved Cam Reddish for Josh Hart.
Josh Hart.
The silence of Leon Rose makes things so weird because he might be saying one thing, and also it's a little different because Quickley is a CAA client, so Rose knows exactly what's going on with Immanuel Quickley at all times. I don't care that he stepped down from his role to be the Knicks president. We know that Leon Rose knows what's going on with Immanuel Quickley because he's both the president of the Knicks and then he has the prominence within CAA that we know he does. I think we could totally see Quickley get moved if the Knicks decide, hey, we don't even want to have him on our books next year because he's going to get a $25 million contract from someone, and he'll take that offer and see if the Knicks match it or get a starting job somewhere. It's a win-win situation for him. He either gets to stay on a good team in a good role with the New York Knicks, or he gets to go to a team where he gets to show out his talent and be a starting level player in the NBA. And the Knicks might decide that Deuce McBride's a good enough backup point guard, or if you're going to get a different backup point guard in some trade for Quickley, or in some Quickley trade where you're moving for some better player, I think the Knicks would really consider it so they don't necessarily have to pay Quickley because it's clear that they don't want to.
Deuce, shout out Deuce.
Oh yeah,
McBride.
Deuce McBride.
Man, we'll see, man. Man, that Mitchell Robinson report is just like, it's such a downer.
I know.
And it's just interesting to see how this season is gonna go because like Mitchell's out. You got this Quickley thing. I'll give Quickley this though. It looks like he's not letting all that talk affect him on the court.
Mm-hmm.
So I will give him that much respect. But eventually it's gonna start coming up as the season progresses. That noise I feel like is gonna start getting louder and louder. But we'll see what happens, man.
I just want to give a quick shout out to my guy, Immanuel Quickley, because as I like to mention, him and I have played 2K together before. It's my guy, and I know that he's staying locked in and doing his absolute thing. He's giving the Knicks the best work he can give. He loves basketball more than anyone that I've ever talked to in my entire life. And also, he's one of those people. He's got that insane competitive streak that's gotten him to the NBA. Like, basically almost every other player in the NBA. He's so competitive and he's young and he's got that heart of a champion where he's going to stay locked in on the court. You're absolutely right. I've seen it too, just like throughout the season. He seems locked in on just having the Knicks be as good as he can help them be. So it's an awesome sign. And I do think that he's going to end up on a new team next year as a starter. And hopefully he just absolutely balls out.
Yo, next time you talk to him on 2K, let him know that I said we need him in the playoffs, baby. Regular season is all great, but let him know playoffs is where the stars shine, baby.
And he's got it this year. He's got it.
All right, let's see. All right, guys. So that's it for me and Chris. Leave it in the comments. Let us know what you think about Immanuel Quickley and if he's going to stay with the Knicks or maybe in the offseason he will be moved. All right, guys. So that's it for today's video, and we'll check you out on the next one. Peace.